Entertainment.
Hey, Kaylor, you know what an exabyte is?
Exabyte, is that new brewery?
Come on, Kaylor. It's 1 billion gigabytes.
How did you know that?
Dude, everyone knows that. And it's the amount of customer data and counting that Backblaze has backed up.
Wow, that is incredible. But what's a Backblaze?
They're a data storage and file recovery service for all your computer files. And they have been recommended by the New York Times, Inc. Magazine, Tom's Guide, and a whole bunch more.
How did I not know about this? I must have been living under a rock. How do I get started, Canope?
Just go to backblaze.com/bizoverbeer. But I'm way ahead of you, Kaylor. I've got Backblaze set up on your computer since day one. They offer $6 a month unlimited backups for Macs and PCs. And for only $2 more, you get a 1-year retention.
Seriously, back your stuff up. 15-day free trial, which will give you plenty of time to upload and download some files.
Just go to backblaze.com/bizoverbeer, that's B-I-Z over beer, to get started today.
Welcome to Business Over Beer, where entrepreneurs, small business owners, and people passionate about what they do bring us their stories and their favorite beer. Hosted by Ben Surratt, Jonathan Kaylor, and Jason Canope, it's time to get down to business and drink some beer.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the second biggest podcast in the Pacific Northwest. That's right, it's Business Over Beer. And we are with our friend, Iggy Odighizuwa. And this is part 2.
Awesome, man. I'm so glad to be back. Thanks for coming back. You took the dog out for a walk.
I did. I took him out, and then I took his squeaky toy away and locked him in the room with me. So now he's very quiet.
So we just lost all the dog lovers. All the dog lovers now are like, well, forget
Never
part
mind.
2.
Yeah.
Forget it. Well, hey, in part 1, we learned a lot about your background, kind of how you got started into personal training, and we started to sort of get into your transition into online personal training and coaching, which is going to lead right into your current business. But before we get there, Ben, did you get a drink during the break, or are you still thirsty?
Hey, man, my hashtag is still up for the people who aren't viewing. It says hashtag I am thirsty, and it has not changed.
What?
Yeah, right here, my little hashtag on my little
I'm looking at the hashtag on your board.
No, right here, that one.
Your Zoom tag.
My Zoom tag.
Man, I tell you.
And it has not changed. So yes,
excellent.
I am still thirsty, Jonathan. Iggy, every episode of the Business Over Beer podcast, my lovely wife, Angela, picks us out a mystery beer. We call this segment Angie's Mystery Beer. So here's how it works. We have this little bag. You are in Tennessee, obviously, and you aren't going to partake, but you can have the entertainment of watching us open. What we do is we're going to open the bag, okay? We're going to open the can, obviously. We're going to pour a little bit of the beer into our glass, take a sip, and just try to guess what it is. You know, it's a game. It's a game we play.
Do you drink enough beer to be able to guess what it is? Have you drank that much beer?
Have we guessed? Recently we guessed correctly, right? Jonathan did.
We've guessed a few, 3 or 4 maybe.
We've done
there's a lot of flavors of beer, isn't there?
Yeah.
There's quite a bit.
So was that
impressive?
So remember, guys. So was that Keith Sconiers who told us you pull it down and then you got to do the
twist.
The twist.
The twist is the key. See, I've forgotten that recently, and I've been all fiddle fucking around with the bag.
But I thought he meant it like that.
No, he means it like this.
With the twist like this.
And look. See, now I'm not cheating. See, now all I see is The very top.
Okay. Cool.
You learn something new every day.
There you go.
Iggy, you can take that tip with you. That is for you for free. That comes
will.
as
No
part of a guest on the program. The next tip though, not free.
It's gonna cost you. It's gonna cost you.
$750.
$750.
It's a little steep for me.
That's
For that.
$7.50, not $750.
It's about $250.
She gave a dollar.
I like that free 99.
Free 99.
Free 99.
Look at that beer.
Whoa.
That does have a good look to it.
Wow.
And look at Ben. Look at that, Ben. That's a Bernie pour, not a Kaler pour. I did
You're
it.
right.
I did it. That's
I
because
think I like Jonathan. I like the way your beer looks the most out of all three.
Yeah, thanks, Iggy.
I like the look of that.
Wow. There are firsts for everything.
Yeah, that's true.
I guess Canoop was upset and turned off his camera, huh?
Yep. Canoop.
I didn't mean to offend you.
Canoop gets upset a lot.
Canoop.
All right. Prost. Ding. I don't know. Is it a Pilsner? A
No.
lager?
Not a Pilsner, it's not a lager.
I really like it. I really like it a lot.
It's so different. Yeah, I don't know if I like this.
I feel like Jonathan will probably taste the best.
See, Iggy, you'd probably like this beer. It's got a wine quality to it.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking it doesn't look like your traditional beer. It looks very smooth.
I mean, especially when you like on the nose, it really has a white wine quality to the aroma.
That's what it is. I'm not a wine dude.
Yeah,
You're right. You're right.
I taste crackers.
Yes.
You guys taste that?
That's the yeast.
Yeah.
That's the yeast in it.
Yeah.
That's why I thought it was like a Pilsner or a lager, that yeasty taste. But I'm not a fan. I mean,
I might be down to get that one to try.
But it's got a carbonation to it. It's got a bite up front that 100%, I like.
The bite is there up front for sure. That's what I don't like.
See, it feels too carbonated to be like a Pilsner. It's got the mouthfeel of a Pilsner after you get through that initial bite. But
I'm still going to drink it all, so I ain't lying to you.
An IPL. Could it be an IPL?
It could be.
It's almost too hoppy for that, though. It's almost too hoppy for that, or yeasty for that.
I mean, just looking at the color. I mean, it's a golden. I don't think it's a lager. I think it's an ale. I think it's a golden ale.
No, it does have that little weedy taste. I'm curious if it's a style of a Belgian or something.
It doesn't taste like a Belgian, but it does have that. It's bready.
You all have the same same beer?
Yeah. All right, can we open this? I want to know.
All right, big reveal. Canoper, let's see what it is, man. I don't have a guess. I don't have a good guess. I do not have a logical, rational guess.
I don't really either.
It could be an IPA. It could be a Belgian wheat.
Here we go.
It could be anything.
Tan Brewing Company, Moon Juice Galactic IPA, 7.3%.
That's right. It's Angie got it in Arizona. That's right.
That's why. It's from Arizona.
That's right. Earthy. It's earthy.
Yeah, so that's why. So it's the it's got the earthiness, but it's got the peach and the apricot too.
Yes.
With the peach
does.
and the apricot combined with the style of hops they're using kind of makes it a little.
It's unique. It's too unique for me.
See, I kind of like it. But I like wine too, right? So it has that kind of white wine quality to it. I like it. I like it.
I'm gonna drink it all. I'm not that way, but It's just
I'm surprised it's an IPA. It doesn't drink like an
You're
IPA.
right. You're right.
It's cool. It's good.
I might be that way, Ben. I might not drink at all.
So Iggy, I
Mhm.
can't lie to you since you're here in front of me. I took 2020 off from working out.
I feel like everybody did. I took 2020, didn't give you a choice.
Kaler,
No, not
Kaler-
true. It did give me a choice, and I made a different choice.
Kaler lost
Good.
like how
For
many
me-
pounds did you lose?
I lost 25 pounds in 2020.
That's awesome.
It's
And I
amazing.
kept
Were you working out at home?
Yep, I got back into running. I was running 3 times a week, yoga twice a week, and then kind of cross training, light weights, hit intervals twice a
Yeah,
week.
For me, I was just doing enough to maintain until I got my place, and then built a gym, turned the garage into a gym, and it's been like pedal to the metal nonstop. I'm kind of like back to where I was pre-COVID.
Nice. How about you, Ben?
This week I went back on Iggy's program, and that's what I want to talk about.
Nice.
So yeah, I did, and I feel better. I'm looking at myself. I'm like, dude, my cheeks look good. Like I feel like so with Iggy's program and with you and what you do, when you enter your program, it's like I get it daily, every day, 365. I get an email from Iggy's program, and it's, hey, what are you going to do today? What is your goal? What are you going to achieve today? And I got it on Tuesday, and I looked at it and I opened it, and I'm like, I'm going to do something today. I'm going to do some Spider-Man crawls, and I'm going to do some sit-ups and just simple stuff.
Good.
And Iggy's like, yeah, that's what I do. But anyways, but my point is, when you have your program, and it's almost like you foresaw something like this happening. When you were developing your program, did you have any idea, or have you heard from other people about how much it impacted them through COVID or post COVID, like it did for me?
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of clients who actually went through the program initially. So we have some new clients who signed up during that COVID, but older clients came back and was like, I need to get back on a saddle and just need to get back into that environment and get plugged back in. And then we have some clients who already have gone through it and then know exactly what they need to do to get back on that horse, that have reached out and like, man, I'm back on it. I'm feeling really, really good.
Yeah.
And that's the cool thing about it, is like, it's really timeless. Once you know exactly what works for your body, it's just a matter of doing the things that you need to do, right? And then being consistent. As soon as you get back onto it, it's like you didn't skip a beat.
So let's talk about systems by design.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be honest with you, I was watching some of the videos, researching the business a little bit, and I was skeptical at first, thinking that, hey, this is sort of a pandemic driven business. It didn't seem authentic. It didn't seem legit until I really started digging down into some of the deeper levels. You personally made this shift to online long before the pandemic.
Yeah.
So let's start there. So what was it about, sort of online in this virtual environment that was so appealing as a businessman? What was it that said, this is where it's at? This is where I can be the most effective and make the most money and have the most successful business. Because we've all talked about it in the last year. Everybody's talked about it in the last year, but you were 2 years ahead of it, 3 years ahead of it. What was it about that really sort of helped you start to make that shift?
For me, it was all about just impact and leverage, right? So for me, it was like, how can I have the greatest impact and how can I create the most leverage, right? And because leverage equals freedom and flexibility. which I didn't have for a very long time. I didn't have the freedom to just decide I'm going to go on vacation and not worry about how my income was going to be affected. I didn't have the freedom the leverage to be able to travel and do different things. So that's really what it was all about for me. So I was just thinking, how can I create this leverage and an impact? And I was thinking about two different ways. I could have leveraged myself out and hired trainers to be underneath me, which I started to do, and realized that even then, the trainers that were underneath me were going to eventually reach the same breaking point. And I wanted it to be able to where I can really have impact within my team, can also have the leverage that I wanted to have as well. All right. So that's where I started dabbling and start playing around with the idea. Like, I have everything systemized and how I train my clients and how I get them the results. Like literally everything I was doing in person, I have it down to a science. I was like, I wonder if there's a way that I can like take this framework that I've built and teach people how to do it themselves. That's really where it came from. Like, how can I teach people how to kind of do it themselves so they can have the framework to be able to maintain the results, right? So to reach out to me to learn that and for me to teach that to them. And then once they have it, it's a permanent solution to have it for the rest of their life versus with in-person training. Working with a trainer is awesome and I loved it, but you still have to continue to, at some point, work with the trainer to maintain, because the focus isn't on that education aspect of it where you can really do it on your own. All right. So that's where I started to get that idea from. And I saw other people doing it online that, to be honest, didn't really respect the industry. Right. And what I mean, like, they didn't take the time to develop the skills, to develop the knowledge, and really be able to actually help people. So when I started looking at it online, I was like, these guys are killing it. And to be honest, I don't want to be judgmental, but they're extremely unprofessional. They don't know what they're talking about. Right. So that's what kind of led me. I was like, if they're doing it and they don't know what they're talking about, I can tell, like if you're well versed in something, you can quickly tell when somebody is just talking out of their ass. Right. That's kind of what I was starting to see. I was starting to do. I'm like, these guys, like, and the reason I was like, these guys really don't know what they're talking about, but these people don't know any better. So that's what lit the fire underneath me. I was like, I got to figure this online game out. One, because I have real value to offer. I know for a fact I'm very good at what I do. And I've put a lot of time into study, put a lot of time into honing my craft, put a lot of time into really developing the skills to help create sustainable change in my clients' lives. And I wanted to see if I can take that and have an impact with it online, but have a safe space somewhere on the internet where if somebody came into my world, they were working with a true professional that knew what they were talking about, and not some random person who just woke up one day and decided because they look good, they can start giving out health advice.
I mean, we laugh, but that's it, right? Yeah. I mean, that's the game, right? From somebody who is a poser and a faker. And that's a shame, because you're right, because the clients, they don't know any better. And that was the trap you fell into when you first started getting into that. You found the faker, you found the poser.
Absolutely. And I know exactly what that feels like. And I resolved to never let anybody who I work with, no matter what business I have, whether it was with helping people transform their health, I'll make sure they never feel that way. And the same with System by Design now, where personal trainers are looking to make that shift. We go out of our way to make sure we go above and beyond to serve our clients, well beyond any other service that we've been a part of. And I've gone through like 7 different stuff online, some of the biggest ones and things like that. And it's crazy. The internet can be a dangerous place if you don't know who to trust and you don't know where to go.
So tell us about System by Design. Tell us how you ended up in the mix of Systems by Design, kind of what it's all about, and sort of your value proposition and who you serve.
Systems by Design, it's kind of like inception. Its birth is crazy, because I started working and helping to build another company that was similar to what we're doing now with Systems by Design. So I hired a coach to help me take my business online, to help me grow it. And so when I hired this coach, nothing that they were telling me to do was working, nothing whatsoever. I was getting really frustrated, and I could feel like, man, all this stuff is really outdated. Like, what's working right now? And all the clients in his program at the time were feeling the same thing, because he hasn't been in the industry for a few years now. So everything was just really outdated. So I started doing a ton of research, and I essentially, while I was in his program, developed my own system, developed a client acquisition system that was really in alignment with my value and what I really believed, because I had compromised some of my beliefs to do what my mentors told me to do. I just copied what they did and just did exactly what they told me to do, even though it wasn't necessarily in alignment with how I wanted to portray myself online and the kind of value that I want to deliver to my clients. So I did that and failed miserably. And then it was like, you know what? I know who I am. I know the values that I have. I'm just going to do what I know is right. And I know there are going to be people out there who appreciate it. So I sat down and started thinking through how can I do this in a way where I'm giving people the information that they need to make an educated decision about me, right? So that's where the system came, and that became the blueprint for what System by Design is now. So I developed that in like 2019, early 2019, launched it, started running some ads, and it just took off. Like, it blew my business up. And the coach I was in his program noticed that I was getting a lot of success. And then he asked me, like, how was I doing it? And I just felt bad because everyone else there was really struggling. And I could tell they really wanted to help people, just didn't know how. So he essentially bought my system, bought the license to be able to use my system to give it to the students in his program. And then eventually hired me to teach it to them so that they can do it. And then from there, I started realizing, at the top of the organization, there's just some things that I just our values were just not in alignment. The way that they were treating people behind the scenes, the way that they treated their team, the way that they treated their staff and things like that, just really didn't sit well with me. And so I was like conflicted between, I know these people that are here really need my help, and these are genuine people who want to be able to change people's lives, but the fruit of the organization that I'm a part of, it just not in alignment. So there's this disconnect. And so I entered a licensing agreement with the guy who runs his business for him to continue to license my system to teach his students, but he'd have to pay me a cut for what they were doing as far as like revenue or whatever. And so when it came time to actually pay for all the work that I put in, for the use of the systems, all the hundreds of testimonials that it produced for his business, it blew up his business. And then when it came time to pay, he tried to snub me out of the deal and pretend like nothing happened, right? So with all this documentations and everything there, I was like, dude, like, what do you mean you don't remember agreeing to this? Like, what are you talking about? Right? So, and I wasn't going to fight about it, because for me, I value people more than I value money. So it's like, dude, like, you're going, when it's all said and done, and I have a text message that says, when it's all said and done, you're going to realize that I gave a lot more than what I was asking for in return. Right? You're really going to realize I gave a lot more than what I was asking for in return. And you're going to regret this decision. So I hope the best for you. But so we ended up parting ways, and I was getting ready to launch System by Design. So I pulled my system out of his program, and people lost their mind, because they're like, dude, what the heck is going on? Like, what happened? Then he tried to come back at me and was like, dude, I didn't tell you you can take it out. Like, that's mine. Like, what are you doing? So what are you talking about, bro? Like, you didn't want to pay for it. You said you didn't agree to the license, and you told me, and I have a written documentation from him telling me to take it out of his program, pull the system out. I was like, dude, I did literally exactly what you said for me to do. And so he got really, really upset. And then I decided, you know what? I wasn't going to go down the route where I was going to try and help fitness professionals, because I was really happy taking care of my clients, working with them. And I'm still continuing to do that to this very day because it's a genuine passion of mine. So after a lot of people were reaching out to me and were like, hey man, like I really could use the help. Like I need your system. Like I need you to be able to like help me with this. So it was out of that need, I decided, you know what? It was on my phase 4 when I first started Tri-180 coaching. I was like, I want to eventually have this down to a science to where I can help other people who wanted to take their business online in the fitness industry be able to do so. But that was like 5 years down the line. And in my mind, I was like, that's going to be like 5-10 years down the line when I really have this thing like down packed. And so just kind of out of that need, that System by Design came out. I was originally going to do it myself. And then as we're about to launch, this guy who agreed to license my system sued me for wanting to go out and do my own thing.
With your system, with your own system.
It's the most bizarre. I got the letter. I got like a certified mail, like you've been served. And I'm like looking at them like, is this guy for real? Like what? Am I getting sued for for trying to do something that I created? And so, and it was legit. It was a real lawsuit, and ended up having to go to court. And his hope was, he would essentially drain my funds to the point where I just couldn't continue to fight the battle and would have to concede. So I had to go through that, and that was a lot of 2020 going through that and dealing with that, spending money on that. And then I was also getting ready. I proposed to my fiance. I just spent a ton of money on the ring and all these different things. We were planning a wedding and trying to do that while juggling a lawsuit and trying to juggle my business. It's literally 2020 was the hardest time of my life. It was really, really hard emotionally. And I was thinking like, you know what, maybe I should just give in. Is it really worth it? Is it worth the stress? Is it worth the battle? Like, is it like, what's the point of this? And for me, I remember like immediately when I was at that low point, I was like, you know what? I know for a fact, this is exactly what I need to do, because every time I felt this way, I knew it was the right thing to do. When I first wanted to take my business online, I was terrified. I was training 70 to 100 people a week. I was like, should I do this? Like, I mean, I'm going to be given, like, what are these people going to think? Like, how are they going to react? All these different things. And I decided to go with it anyways. And so I was like, it was in that moment, I was like, you know what? If this wasn't going to be if this wasn't a real thing that can turn into a movement, he wouldn't have gone out of his way to try and stop me. You don't stop somebody you're threatened by. You don't stop somebody that has no value and things like that. So like, you know what? If he's doing this, it's because he's really afraid that I have something that's legitimate. Like I have something that's really going to change people's lives, and he doesn't want anybody else, and he doesn't want it to get out. So I stuck to my guns, and we ended up going to court. We ended up doing it like part of it virtually. And in court, this guy told the judge that he was the one that built the system, that he was the one that developed it, and that I took it from him, and that I was just jealous and wanted to take his his business. And I was just like, wow, I just cannot believe this. And so I had to sit there and listen to this for like 8 hours straight of just one witness after the other. Like he got people from his program and from his staff to come to trial to essentially back up his lie. And I had to sit there and just listen to it lie after lie. I'm like, dude,
people have no idea what a licensing agreement actually means.
Yeah, they have no idea. And I was like, wow, I cannot believe this.
That's awful.
When it came time for me to present my case, I meticulously note everything. So I had essentially documented over 1,800 pages worth of detailed documentation of how I developed my system. just because I hate having to repeat myself. So I wanted to have a way so it's easy for me to replicate. So I ended up presenting that documentation and letting the judge know detailed step by step exactly how I built everything, the ins and out of it, the softwares that I leveraged, the different codings, the APIs and all those things, backends, like terminology that I know for a fact went completely over the dude's head. And it just became very abundantly clear. It became very, very clear, like, okay, this guy clearly is the one that did it. It's like this guy clearly is the one that did it. And so
Oh my goodness.
I ended up winning, and got the clear to launch the business and go full head of steam. And that's where I was like, you know what? I'm glad I did, because all the lives that have been changed as a result of it is just crazy. My favorite thing is getting clients who reach out to me, who share their testimonials that they're getting from their clients on the transformation that they've been able to help them make. Right. So that's kind of like it's a crazy story. And so it's a bit of a long story, but it's just like really, really crazy what went into it. And that's what makes what we're doing now so much worth it, because we've put in the time, we've gone through the battle, and people who come into our world and really get a chance to work with us, they know that we value, as far as our business goes, we build with the end in mind, right? We value people. We want to be efficient, and then we want to help those with integrity win in a space that's so filled with snake oil salesmen and different things like that, and charlatans and all that. Like, we want to help professionals, true professionals who have a passion for the industry, who have a knowledge that can help people. And we want to help those people find a space in the marketplace and help them win, so that we can make the industry honest again, So
Bro, that's amazing. That's amazing.
I mean, what an incredible story of perseverance, and because it's that just takes such fortitude to go through that. But understanding your story and where you've come from to get to this point, hearing that, it's like, you know what? No, this is mine. I built it. I've climbed the mountain. And again, without, I keep going back to that moment where you hired the coach that played you.
mm-hmm.
Like, for me, like, it just keeps going back to that moment and saying, you know what? No, I have something here that can help people live a better life. And it's not just your clients. And to be clear, I want to make sure that it's clear what your business is. So your business helps other fitness professionals serve their clients.
Yes.
Right. So you kind of get the double satisfaction that you're helping other trainers and other people who are then trying to help other people get healthy and live their best life.
It's awesome, because I can only do so much. Right. And we reached a point where it's just like, there's millions of new people entering the space that need help every single day.
Every day.
So even if I reach our pinnacle where we've helped thousands of people at this point, there's still millions of people that need help. So there's no way that we can do it. And that's where I was like, if I want to expand it, there are other people who are equally as qualified, even more qualified than I am, that haven't been able to figure it out simply because they don't have the proper systems, they don't have the proper strategy, and they're learning from people who don't know what they're talking about. I want to find those people and help them win, right? Because if we are able to do that, now we have other people who are legitimately certified to actually transform the lives of other people, right?
So in the time we have left, talk to me about the system, because your system is about client acquisition. It's about building a funnel of potential clients, weeding out those that are a bad fit, and finding the clients that are a good fit.
Yeah.
So as best you can, try to distill that and how you've managed to take organic marketing and paid marketing to do that. Because what I want to do is try to make the connection from your industry, the fitness industry, and see how that might be applicable to other industries, because I know it certainly can be.
Yeah, it's 100% applicable. Like, we work with small business owners that are outside of the fitness industry. We just don't market to everyone, simply because I know my story as a fitness professional is going to resonate with other fitness professionals who share the same kind of passion. But essentially, there's a few different frameworks. The first thing that we need to do is we need to find out, okay, what are you going to specialize in, right? What's your corner of the internet that you can best serve the people that you want to work with? So that's the first thing. We figure out like what you're going to be specializing in, and then we develop a unique methodology on how you actually going to get the people that you want to help results, right? Because if you know what you're talking about, you should know how you want to help the people that you say you want to help. So we make sure we iron that out and help you develop a roadmap that you can use to get these people the results that you want, and we'll help you flesh that out and help you set it up so that it's like, okay, it follows a logical progression that your ideal clients can go through. Once we have that, the next step is creating, turning like your unique methodology, what we call it, into your unique proposition, right? Unique selling proposition, like figuring out, okay, how can we market it and how can we package it so that we can do it in a way that communicates the value that you want to offer to people. All right, so we take your unique methodology, create a unique selling proposition, and then create a mini teaser, right, to give people a sample of what it's like to work with you. And we just map out like what that teaser is going to look like. We automate it. We put our systems behind it so that it delivers on autopilot. So those who want to find out more about you can go through this step-by-step process and start to get educated about what you do, educated about the problem that you solve. You help them create a mini breakthrough. And by the time somebody's gone through this mini program that you've developed, they're fully convinced of your value. You've helped them solve a problem. You've helped them identify problems, and you've educated and created this mini breakthrough that really creates a ton of reciprocity between you and the prospect. They're like, wow, like I don't even know this dude. And just going through this little mini teaser that he's giving me is just completely giving me a change of perspective, right? So that we automate that process. That's a client acquisition system that we take the clients through. And then we help them build an enrollment process. So once you build your client acquisition system and you start funneling people through it, we start marketing it organically through paid advertisement, put it in front of as many people as possible who fit your ideal clientele, right? And then once you get enough people going in, we develop like the enrollment process. Okay, what does the enrollment process need to look like? How are you going to be turning these people who have expressed interest, have consumed some information about you, they know what you do and want to be a part of what you have? How can we enroll them in an effortless way so that it's sustainable for you and you can still have leverage as a business owner, right? So we set that up. And then once we build out the enrollment process and you're making sales, now we're like, okay, how can we deliver the best service to them possible in a way that's leverage, in a way that's world-class, in a way that delivers on the promise that you gave them on the front end so that we can have that fulfillment, right? So our thing is like leads equals opportunity, but we want to build a relationship with those leads because that creates, we want to nurture those leads because that builds a relationship. And then we want to make sure we fulfill on our promise because that builds trust, right? And then as you start to create a fan base of people who you've helped, like with Ben as an example, he knows like I'm sure he feels perfectly comfortable referring me business because he knows we're damn good at what we do, right? So you start to create this pool of people who have really been impacted by you, and now they're helping you find people and helping bringing people into the system. Now you're building a relationship with more people, and it just becomes this exponential thing that just starts to grow organically, and then you're feeding it with paid traffic, and it just snowballs.
I love it.
Oh.
I love it, man. Thank you for sharing that story. Thank you for sharing your business, man. We're going to leave it there for tonight. But before we go, Benjamin, it's time.
Is it time already?
Already?
Jeez.
It went fast tonight, man.
Yeah.
I've got a bunch of other questions. I wish we could sit here and talk all night. but I'm out of
Well,
beer, so
well, I guess. All right. So I guess it's time for the final question, Iggy. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right.
Should I be nervous?
Yeah, probably. Uh, so, Iggy, you went a different path, and you are the number one draft pick in the 2021 NFL Draft. Roger Goodell comes and says your name, and with the blank pick, blank picks Iggy Odighizuwa, and you go up there and you thank this person. So, three-part question, or two-part question, I guess. Who's picking you? Who's drafting you first? And who are you thanking?
I would want to be drafted. I would say there's a couple organizations that I like. I wouldn't mind being drafted to the Patriots or the Cowboys. I don't have like a specific team that I'm really like
No, wrong
fan of.
answer. Cowboys. No, wrong answer. Fail.
I don't know what happened to the recording. The recording just disappeared. Sorry, Iggy. Turns out you're not going to be on the Business Over Beer podcast.
Even Canope's gone now.
So for me, I personally like, so I don't really care what team I get drafted to, but I do know who I would thank. For me, hands down, I would thank my mom. I've seen her struggle. She was a single mother raising 4 boys. Went through the hardships, has gotten her bachelor's, got her master's degree, going through that process, made sure we stay out of trouble, made sure we stayed off the streets, got us into sports despite not being able to afford it. She figured out how to make it happen because she knew that we needed it. And then she also went out of her way to make sure that she put mentors in our lives to give us father figures and to teach us and fill that gap that she knew that she couldn't fill in. So my mom, hands down, I wouldn't think of anybody else. Nobody else even comes close. So
good answer, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Good answer.
I can't thank you enough for sharing your story, for giving us some insights into your business and to what you're all about. If people want to find out more about Iggy and your business, where would you like people to go?
They can go, if they're looking on social media, I mean, they can look for me, look for Iggy. As soon as you type in Iggy ODI on Facebook, I'm going to be the first one to pop up, and it'll be the same thing on like LinkedIn. But if you want to look for our business, go to like www.systems-bydesign.com, and you'll find all the information that you need about us.
Outstanding. And as always, everything that we talked about tonight, including all of that contact information for Iggy and his businesses, will be in the show notes and the blog post for this episode. Please go check it out now.
Canope.
Yeah.
If people want to find Business Over Beer, where do they go?
Well, they go to bizoverbeer.com, bizoverbeer.com. We've got everything you're going to need there. We've got links to the podcast, the YouTube page. We've got our social media handles there, our events, and we've also got another page on there, I believe, that you've kind of taken over yourself there. What would that be, Ben?
Oh, you're talking about the businessoverbeer.com/Patreon.
I am.
It's so awesome because you get to be part of the community that we're building. And every month, all of our Patreons get together and we do what's called the Bob Happy Hour. And the Bob Happy Hour is the community of the BCs or Bob crew. And we mastermind, we have games, we chat, We brainstorm. We try to uplift each other, because a lot of the people who are on the Bob Happy Hour are small business owners, entrepreneurs, people who are passionate about what they do in the community. And we are talking about each other and lifting each other up and giving ideas. I'm going to give you a good example. Last happy hour, we had Christine and Bill. And Christine is starting a small business. She's fresh. She's ready to go. And Bill helped her. And man, I'm so happy that happened. And by the way, Bill is here in Oregon or in the Pacific Northwest, and Christine is in Virginia. And that's how awesome that hookup was. So, man, boom. Iggy, you ready?
Yes, I am.
All right. Iggy will give you the discount.
I'm actually on the page right now, checking it out.
Iggy, can we do this? Can we have a bonus question for our Patreons? Just for our Patreons right now?
Here we go. Patreon exclusive question.
How do you tell a coach to check their ego? Because a lot of these coaches have these tremendous egos, but you seem to not have it, but yet you have a lion behind you, which is like, that lion behind you is like I don't want to say
that lion is my spirit animal.
Exactly. So that's your ego, but you have your ego in check, or you know how to channel your ego. What advice would you give to a coach about ego? And if you just missed Iggy's response to that last question, you need to become a Patreon right now, because it will change the way you look at coaching and just being a small business owner, entrepreneur.
And can I say something real quick?
Yes.
You know, like, especially if you're a business owner, you can't afford to not surround yourself by other professionals who are looking to grow, right? Because it's tough when you're trying to figure it out on your own. So if like investing into something like this scares you, like, what are you doing in business? You know, so don't be afraid to and make the necessary investment and surround yourself by people who are in it to win it, who have that mindset, who are looking to build each other up, because that's going to fast track the path that you have to get to where you want to be 1,000 folds. Doing it by yourself is going to cost you 5 years minimum trial and error and failure. Minimum. I don't care who you are. It's going to be minimum. So I just wanted to share that just for anyone who's on the fence and who's like, I don't know, like, do it. And then just see the fact that you're investing into your own business take you to a different mindset where you're looking for ways to continue to grow and develop yourself and make your business even better. And it's going to get to where you need it to be.
And it's only $10 a month. I mean, that's it. That's nothing.
That's awesome.
Iggy, man, thank you so much. That's awesome. I promise I will get back on the saddle. I started this Wednesday, and I will have a progress report for you in how long do I have? A month?
Yeah, give yourself 30 days.
30 days.
Get it over.
I promise. All right.
Awesome.
I appreciate
I'll be looking out for that.
Awesome. Kaler, Canope, Iggy, thank you. Listeners, thank you. Patreons, thank you so much. We would not be here without you. We love you so much. Viewers, I'm sorry, as usual. But Iggy was here, so there you go.
He was the eye candy tonight.
He was the eye candy. Canope, you got off the hook this time. We will see you all next time.
Good night.
Business Over Beer reminds you to always drink responsibly. Our theme song is Idiocracy by Christian Leo. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time on Business Over Beer, a TH3 Entertainment production.